1941. Jim enlisted in the Delaware National Guard. When war broke out, Thompson worked for the Office of Strategic Services, the precursor of the CIA, and was stationed all over the world. Around 1945, Thompson was transferred to Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, where preparations were underway to invade Thailand. Japan's surrender eliminated the need for such an invasion, and in August of the same year, Jim arrived by military plane in Thailand. On Easter Sunday in 1967, Jim Thompson went for an afternoon walk in the Cameron Highlands jungle-clad hills. The American, known as the King of Thai Silk, was on vacation in Malaysia with friends at the Moonlight Cottage, a colonial-period villa in the old British hill station north of Kuala Lumpur. Something happened during his walk. Thompson was never seen again. His disappearance has been a mystery for half a century. A huge search turned up nothing. No ransom or other note was found. Thompson had left his medications behind, which suggested foul play. Several books have been written about him, spawning an array of theories about his fate that range from a tiger attack to a CIA plot. A breakthrough in the case was made in 2013 by Shuicha Noy Haranparuk. Noy recounted a discussion he had with a Singaporean friend, Teo Pin, who told him the Communist Party of Malaya, CPM, had killed Thompson during his visit to the Cameron Highlands. How did Teo Pin know this? It was a deathbed confession of his uncle, Teo Pak Hua, who had been a senior CPM cadre for decades fighting against the British and, later, the Malaysians. He said his uncle Teo Pak Hua told him that when Thompson arrived in the Cameron Highlands he asked to be put in contact with Chin Peng, the Secretary-General of the CPM, and then the most wanted man in Malaysia. Teo Pin said asking to contact Chin Peng aroused immediate suspicion in the Camerons, a longtime stronghold of the CPM. The Moonlight Cottage, where Thompson was a guest, had at one time been a local headquarters of the CPM. Staff members were CPM sympathizers at the time he stayed there. The year 1967 was a bad time for an aging American with a background in intelligence gathering to seek out the most wanted man in Malaysia. The communist struggle was not over. A second emergency began a year later and did not end until the Malay Communists surrendered in 1989. Thompson was put under surveillance while the CPM checked his background. They learned that the American had been an intelligence officer during World War II. He was suspected of being a spy. At the time, communication was difficult for the CPM. They lacked radios and relied on couriers to carry messages among disparate groups around Malaysia and their border headquarters in Betong, Thailand. Each CPM cell was pretty much on its own and handled security issues themselves. A decision was likely made locally, and Thompson was killed during his Easter Day walk in 1967. The CPM made sure that no physical evidence was found.